This presentation is called Albuquerque Value Density. If you don't know what that means, the subtitle is Why We Don't Have Money for Nice Things. The current state of things in the city, there's lots of infrastructure. That means there's lots to maintain. We keep building in a very spread out pattern and requiring more infrastructure. And we keep continuing this pattern. So we're not getting any more efficient in how much we spend on infrastructure, and as you look around, we need more spent on infrastructure. To give you an idea, this is if you took all the road in Albuquerque and you made a parking lot, you could basically pave over corrals. That's 12 square miles of pavement. Visualized a different way, it's about 4,300 miles of road. That is from here to Boston and back. So you might think, oh, okay, fine, but our Albuquerque budget has to maintain that. Like, we built that. And every 20 years or so, we have to repave that. Just us, just our taxes, repaving from here to Boston and back. We can't keep up. Here's some pictures that I've taken on some of my bike rides and such, and got some from some other people in strong towns there. Here's a map of the current road conditions. The blue is they're in good condition, green is all right, is good, or very good, good. Yellow is getting the fair, and the scary stuff is the poor and the very poor, because when they get that bad, you have to tear up the road and redo it. And it costs a lot more money. They like to keep it in a certain state so that you don't have to keep tearing up the road. So let's put this into perspective. We have all those lane miles of road in Albuquerque. It's about $500,000 per lane mile to resurface, repave. You have to do that, divide that by 20 years. It's $116 million a year we have to do to maintain all of our roads. The Department of Municipal Development, though its budget is $51 million, only 8.3 is tagged as street services. So we have a deficit of about $108 million a year on keeping our roads up to snuff. So if you're wondering why they're not, this is why. We're not giving enough money. So what do? We can pave less. Most streets are oversized. They've been built for traffic loads that they never even saw, or those streets have seen a decrease in traffic, like Lomas down here. They don't need to be nearly that wide anymore. You could dedicate some lanes to lower use traffic, like bus lanes and bike lanes. You don't have to pave as often. If we were more dense, we could spread that cost across more people, be cheaper. And then lastly, what if we only bought what we could afford? You know, the old-fashioned American way, right? Most of our roads are financed through general obligation funds. We borrow money. We go to vote for November and we say, hey, would you like another lane on Paseo? That'd be great, right? We go, yeah. You know, let's do it. And what we're doing is we're signing up for a loan on something, over a 20-year loan or something. 20 years from now, you have to repave that road again. So right when you're done paying it off, you then have to spend almost as much money to maintain it. Do we save that for that money? We don't. Where does the money come from? We're funded more off of gross receipts tax, that's like sales tax, more than property tax. And so that big chunk there, gross receipts, property tax, then enterprise, you know, where you charge for, you know, ads to the bus or for the airport and all those kinds of things. This is not recession tolerant. When we hit a recession, people spend less, we get less money as a city, and our infrastructure gets poorer. Property tax stays about the same through the recession. So how do we get more money? You want to raise taxes? No. How about we make the pie bigger? and then we take the same percentage of that pie, we can have more money. And some of the reason we say this is, so the city has just, what do we have as a city? A limited amount a finite amount of resources of land. We have the responsibility to use it to the utmost potential. Maybe that means making it denser in parts. And we say denser. Well, people want large lots. I don't want to live crammed next to people. And yes, okay, if we can afford that, sure, let's do it. But larger lots require longer roads, wider roads, and demand more driving, which demands more parking lots, which demands all this infrastructure. So you'll see some of the development patterns as we go through that we're giving away these lots for cheaper. We're not taxing them as much. We're saying, hey, yeah, you want more land? I'll give it to you for cheaper. And they need more infrastructure costs. So if you were running a business, you wanted to be more efficient and you were in your fleet, and you said, okay, what is the best car to buy? You'd say, well, obviously Toyota Tundra, and that's 32 gallons. That's how much that car holds. This is the equivalent of us saying, oh great, we want high property value. Okay, there's something wrong with this, right? It's not how many gallons the car holds, it's the miles per gallon. That's how you measure efficiency. So Ford Fiesta beats that out here. So in this case, which is more valuable? This house, which is valued at $115,000, or the Walmart right across Wyoming, which is $2.38 million? Which is more valuable? Sure, Walmart may be paying more in taxes, but if you divided that value by the amount of land that it's on, if all that acreage, a parking lot, everything, you divide it by that and you get an efficiency factor. How much, the value per acre, the value density. And so this says that house is 3 times as valuable to the city as the Walmart. You're paying 3 times more per acre for your house than Walmart is for Walmart. Here's just another little development, this little pokey here, right? And again, you divide that by the acreage, it goes from 460,000. Now it's 850 per acre. It still beats Walmart. So here's some of the scale of the value density. We have government buildings, you can't tax those, okay, government parcels. You have Walmarts, really these are some of the lowest value things, besides some like mobile home lots where the structure is not valued at all, really. So Walmart, you got single family housing. Here's the Lobo Theater in Zinc, this is down on Knob Hill. These are getting up to about $2 million per acre. Here we have City Place, this is a high rise in Uptown. That's getting more, 3.8 or 3.5 million per acre, though it's still surrounded by parking lot, makes it less efficient. And then we have townhomes. Anybody have townhomes in their neighborhood? Look at how much more valuable they are than the single family home per acre. So again, you're saying, oh, I would never want to be cramped like that. And somebody who decides to be, you go, oh great, you're going to do that, we're going to tax you more. They're being more efficient, they're giving more back to the infrastructure of their community, even though they use less. Here's a multi-use development, shops on the bottom, apartments on top, and we're getting to 5.8 million. And then some of the highest here are these luxury apartments downtown, like the Anasazi, $40 million per acre. I mean, compare that to the other houses, to Walmart, that's incredible. And we'll see the scale of this. Here's just the distribution. Most of our stuff is about 1 million per acre, and then it kind of tapers off as we go. Don't want to spend too much time on that. I'm already spending too much time here. Just going to skip this. This is a value map of Albuquerque. Each parcel is color-coded. Red is low, blue is high, of the value of each property. But again, we don't want to get gallons per tank, we want to get miles per gallon. So this is value density. We'll zoom in, don't you worry, but you can see exactly where downtown is. It's a lot more dark, it's a lot more blue. Uptown, you can see that pops right out there, right? And then you can see the sea of single family housing. And when you see little blue clumps in those, that's townhouses and duplexes. This is downtown. You can see just how large, how high those are. Purple and blue is very, very, high value. And that's, it's huge. It's the most dense we have here. And then you can see where the parking lots are, right? And sure, you know, we need to park somewhere, but right there, right on Central, you know, or some of these vacant lots here, right? So just something to think about, you know. Here's Uptown. We got Coronado Mall, we've got Uptown Shopping Center, Windrock, but you can see even Windrock, oh, that's pretty good, okay? But now it's surrounded by the sea of parking, it's dark orange. You average those out, that goes down pretty far. Every time we add more parking, it is just storage, temporary storage for cars. This is QGIS. I can get more into the data crunching stuff afterwards. I think I'm kind of starting to get near the end of the time now, so happy to talk about it afterwards. Shout out to Carlos here. He's been doing a lot of work on this. This is the data that he's, you know, I put some data together, he puts the data together, and it's been really great working together to find this. This is Nob Hill, so there's, it's cut off there. Those are mixed use. The tallest ones are mixed use and condos. Okay, and those are the biggest ones in Nob Hill. Academy Acres, this is kind of my neighborhood. That's why I put it on here. This is where that Walmart was. So you can see in the top there, mobile homes, kind of low value. Everything else, you know, single family housing there. But then you can see the townhomes. Those spring up, you know, 3 to 5 times as valuable per acre than the single family homes. And then I want to point out the Whole Foods, Walmart, Smiths. If you look at this map, along all the boulevards, all the streets, the value per acre drops. Basically, we're saying, oh, here, you have direct access to the best roads, the biggest roads, all of this, we'll give it to you for cheaper. It's kind of a funny way we do things, giving away more for less. And you may say, okay, well, you know, you could replace these with single-family housing and the city would be better off. So if you're the city and you're thinking, I want to use my land responsibly, I want to develop it responsibly, well, the small mom and pop stores outperform the big box stores. You could replace with single-family housing and you'd be better off. You might say, well, they bring in more gross receipts and income tax, right? It's a store, people work there, people spend money there, but who pays the gross receipts tax? I mean, we pay it as consumers. Who pays the income tax? The people who work there pay the income tax, right? And those mom and pop stores employ more people, you know, per acre than Walmart does. Everything is efficient about Walmart. They have all the roads that let them deliver semi-trucks directly right to their place. All the people right to their doorstep in their big parking lots, right? We're giving them a lot, and we do get low prices, okay? But there is a cost. Here's some trade-off. And so we are subsidizing, everyone who owns, every other property owner that is greater than orange there is subsidizing the orange properties. You kind of have to think about it that way. So that is my presentation here. That's a lot. I hope that I kind of explained that value density and why that's a good metric to look at when you actually plan a city. I think I have about a minute. Are there any questions?
So you talked a lot about roads specifically as infrastructure, but do you have any data as to like other types of infrastructure and the maintenance of that, like water lines, sewer, and things like that nature?
Yeah, I started looking at water line sewer, but a lot of that is maintained by the water authority, and they charge, that's what your water bill maintains. And so there are other things like the ditches, the stormwater draining, sidewalks, bridges, but you know, again, many of the bridges are federal and state. And if you have, you know, if you have information about this stuff and want to talk about it, please talk to us, especially Carlos and Charlie and me. Afterwards, we've been doing a lot into this. Love to know what you know, because I'm an engineer, I'm not a city person, so I may be overlooking something here, but this is simple data that, you know, it's simple. It's, but it does show us a story here. Yes?
You dismissed gross receipts and income tax because we are taking them. But what you're looking at is property taxes of homes. Aren't we paying that as well?
Absolutely. What I'm saying is, many people would say, okay, well, yeah, you're giving Walmart a good deal on the land. That's because you make it all back in gross receipts tax and income tax. And I haven't calculated that out yet. I haven't put that as a simple model of just property tax. But even if you did calculate that out, you're saying, okay, good, you are giving people jobs, but the people are still the ones paying the tax, right? And so we are giving them a tax break in property tax, but are we really making it back in terms of tax from that company? I don't know. It's something to ask ourselves, and maybe we are. Maybe we say that's the price we pay for Walmart or Whole Foods or a big box store. Yes, that's what we want. But if we are looking to develop in new areas or redevelop portions or rezone portions, it's just something that we should think about as a city. Should we be giving away prime property on these boulevards for less than if I sold it to a private citizen who owns a house?
I would just say that you've got this hugely overbuilt road system that allows these big trucks to get to these stores. And if you go to places like Mexico and stuff like that, where you don't have this hugely overbuilt road system in these cities, then those overbuilt road systems represent the subsidy that allows these big box stores to survive. You see much more like mom and pop type stores like you do in Mexico and Europe for that matter than you do currently. So I think the subsidy is one of the subsidies to these big stores is the overbuilt road system that allows these big trucks to get there.
Absolutely, and we all benefit from infrastructure. Me, in my house, I benefit from the road that comes right up to my house. Walmart benefits from the boulevard that comes right up to their doorstep. We all do, and so maybe we should be paying the same amount per acre in the same area. That's something I think you introduced it to. Something about like Georgian taxing, economics taxing of area instead of just property value and structural value. Like you'll see here, this is uptown. And there's all this parking lots. Well, we got to park there. Well, if you could develop, if you were allowed to develop a little bit denser, then more people would walk there or ride their bikes there. We have like one apartment complex right in here. And you can see that that's way more valuable per acre than any of the surrounding houses. But it is illegal to build anything denser in the surrounding area. If you just legalize it, perhaps the market would show, and more people would do that, and then you wouldn't have to have as many parking lots. You could increase the whole value of the place by lifting regulation. We all benefit from the infrastructure, and we benefit by proximity to the services that we have. Yes?
And maybe it's cheating to ask two questions, but one is, if you add solar, battery storage, or microgrids to parking lots, does it change that formula much?
I think the property assessor might say, oh, there's a structure on that now, so it's valued more. And so it might be that, and it is offering more utility, so it kind of makes sense.
Second question is, tax incentives at the state level, industrial revenue bonds, DITA, JTIP, things like that. Is that possible to calculate in your model? Because I can feel like it's skewing further away from the big box.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't put any tax breaks in this model. So, as head of household, when you own a house, you get a tax break. When you make another deal with, across from Presbyterian Hospital, they're going to put a big development there, and we're going to say, hey, you don't pay any taxes for 6 years because we want something there, right? They won't pay taxes on that property for 6 years, even though the city is putting infrastructure up to it. Now that may be a great trade-off, right? Make a limited amount of, hey, you get this for free for 6 years, and then we'll tax you on it. That might be a good trade-off for a city to make. But to just completely undervalue it forever and then be stuck at the 3% per year to increase it, maybe not the best. So I haven't put any of the tax breaks into this. We could plot, how much exemptions you're getting per parcel too. This data it's amazing what you can do with this.
Yeah, just like a further comment, which is that a lot of what you're saying about the parcel level, sort of disparities and subsidies, is also really true at a district level and a neighborhood level. And so there's a really large way in which these really value-dense neighborhoods like downtown and uptown are really subsidizing the maintenance needs of, the cul-de-sac that goes into the single-family home.
Absolutely. And you can see that right here. This is the overall map of the data. All the ones in the middle, they're way below. Now it's interesting, these developments in the very north of town, looks like we figured out how to tax them better than we tax the middle of town. So.
Yeah, I think one thing that I know that the city is looking into is different forms of tax increment financing districts, which really help create more of that local capture, some of the value that downtown is generating, the value that uptown is generating, particularly with new dense development that happens on one of those parking lots. Like that value stays in downtown and goes into making the streets and the infrastructure in those value dense.
So the money stays with downtown?
Yeah, Sierra knows all that, but I can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do, and there's a lot of incentives you can put in policy making. Let me know when I need to. But there's, when we say, hey, we're going to tax your structure, right? Like you become more valuable as you put more structure on your property and more valuable structure. Well, Walmart's figured this out, and they literally build their buildings the cheapest, and this is just Walmart's, Best Buy, everybody, right? They build it in the cheapest way they can, and then they have deductions every year, and they try to reduce I forgot the name for it tax-wise, devalue the structure, depreciation over 20 years, and to where their structure ends up zero after 20 years. I mean, so we, in this way of taxing, where we tax the land and the structure, not only do we say, hey, yeah, vacant, dilapidated building, go ahead and keep it for cheap. We also say, hey, Walmart, we're going to tax you. They go, okay, no, wait, we're going to put a really cheap, ugly building here. You go, oh, okay, that's fine. We won't tax you as much then. So we're kind of, these incentives that we've put, they matter, and so, oh, sorry, yeah. I know you had a question first, sorry.
Yeah, it's amazing work. Speaking of policy, have you showed this to many state universities?
I guess now I am. I wanted to work through some of this. I wanted to have some feedback from all y'all on this before I start calling up my councilwoman, and that's kind of where I was going to start, just really small. Just start really small, and then I would love to get this in front of, I definitely want to get in front of my councilman, and then in front of the mayor. I mean, I think I showed the mayor a screenshot of this at one of our neighborhood meetings or something, and he's like, oh wow, what I think would be low value? The west side, there's like nothing out there, like he was catching on to it, he got it, and so it'd be really interesting to show him this now, and it'd be good to have concrete examples, so we could definitely use a lot of help with this.
Let's thank our speaker again.
And Tyler will be around all over.
Just FYI, we put this data online interactively. We can expand, zoom in, click and see the value of the property. So if you're interested, talk to us outside.
Interactive data, we love it. But yeah, all of our cool data boys will be around, so you can continue chatting with them about fun number stuff. We love numbers.